Hi, this is Megan with Beadaholique, and today I'm going to show you how to do an ornate right angle weave in bead weaving. And this is the project that I'm working on that's going to use this stitch, but I'm going to go ahead and show you on these other pearls and bicones because they're a little larger and the colors will give a little bit more contrast so you can follow the stitch a little bit easier. I'm using Swarovski pearls and Swarovski crystal bicones. The bicones should be smaller than the pearls. You can do this stitch with other beads. You can use other rounds, other crystals. You could use just regular seed beads in larger sizes and smaller sizes. I really like the fancy effect of using the pearls on the bicones. That's what I'm using, but you could definitely use other beads in there instead. So you're going to start with a needle and thread, and I'm using a size 12 needle because you do make quite a few passes through the beads in the stitch, and a nice braided thread like Wildfire Fireline. So this version of right angle weave alternates between groups of the pearls with crystals between them and groups of pearls on their own. So to start, you'll want to make a group of 4 pearls with bicones between them. And I'm using bigger materials for this example, so it is going to come out rather large. I'm just wanting to make sure that it's easier to see what I'm doing. So you go ahead and string 4 pearls and 4 bicones. Bring it towards the end. Make sure you leave a tail on the end of your work whenever you do bead weaving. And bring your needle back through the first pearl and pull it into a loop. And on the first loop, you're going to go through the next crystal, the next pearl, the next crystal, and the next pearl. So you want your tail to stay at the end of your work, and you're going to work this way. So the next group doesn't have crystals, it's just pearls. And we already have 1 pearl. We're going to build off of this, so we need 3 more. And string them on. And then bring your needle back through the first pearl. And pull that into a loop. And you can see with the larger size beads, you do see a lot of the thread. You don't as much with the smaller size as you do with the bigger one. I'm also using contrasting thread, so it's showing up a lot more than it would if you used something that matched. Then take your needle back through the next 2 pearls, because we want to keep building this way, so we want to get over to that pearl. All right, now we're going to build another group of pearls with crystals off of this side of that cluster. So we're going to go with that pearl right there. So we want to start with a crystal and add 3 more pearls with a crystal between each one. And then the last crystal to go next to that pearl as well. And go back through that last pearl from the previous group. And pull it into a loop. So you can see this is just a much larger version of one piece of this here. And you will continue through the next crystal and the next pearl so that we can work this way. You're going to build your next group off of that pearl there. Okay, and since it alternates and this group here has crystals, the next one will be just plain pearls. So I have one, I'm going to add 3 more. And pull your thread through that first pearl again to make a loop. And then follow through. You're going to go through all 3 of the ones you just put on to get back to the side you want to work on. Okay, now this part is a little tricky because what we're going to add next is a group of pearls with crystals between. But we want to use the same crystals that connected on the corners of the last ones over here and incorporate them so that you can see here there's just the 1 crystal between instead of having 2 stacked right next to each other. So we're going to use this pearl and this pearl. We're going to pick up that crystal and that crystal also. So you already came out of this pearl here. We're just going to go and pick up that crystal. And then go through this next pearl. And then go through the next crystal as well. We'll incorporate all of that into our next loop. So we have a pearl, a crystal, a pearl, a crystal. We just need to complete the segment. So add another pearl, another crystal, pearl, and a crystal. And then when we go back through that last pearl, it will go ahead and bring that loop together. And then you will travel with your needle back through until you get over to this pearl here, because that's the area, the direction in which we're going to keep moving. And if you've done plain right angle weave, you'll be familiar with the flow of the needle, the way that it loops around and back to keep going in the direction that you're going. The next group is going to be another plain pearl group with no crystals, and we already have 2 of them here, so we just need to add 2 more. And we're going to go back through this pearl here to complete the loop. And then we'll continue building this way, so you need to get to that pearl. And I'm just going to do another row to make it nice and clear how you incorporate the crystals as you go. Okay, so this is going to become a group off of this pearl that has crystals. So next to that pearl, you need a crystal. And then you're going to add another crystal and another pearl. And then when you have 3 pearls, you can see this crystal here is already there to go next to it, so you don't need to add a last one. And what you're going to do is actually go in through that crystal and then through the pearl. So just as you're working, always make sure that you pick up the crystals that were already from the previous loops when you want to work them in to the grouping. Otherwise you would end up with 2 here, and it looks much more clean and neat with just 1. and then bring your needle back around. You always want to keep working around in loops. You don't want to turn too suddenly, so keep following the loop around in the direction that you're going until you get to where you want to go with it. And where we want to go with it is right up through this next pearl here, which is going to be grouped with this one here. So go ahead and go through. You can go ahead and always take your needle through as much of your loop as is already in place. And that's going to be a plain loop, so you're only going to add 2 more pearls. And you go back through both of those. And then up through the next as well. And then you're going to build another grouping with crystals. So crystal, pearl, crystal, pearl, and then 1 more crystal to go on the outside of that pearl. And you'll go through the pearl to make it a loop. And you want to make sure to pick up that crystal as you go back through the loop. And you want to go up through to continue from that pearl right there. And then from there, you would just keep building your groups, alternating between pearls only and pearls with crystals. And you can make it as narrow or as wide as you want, and just keep working for as long as you want. And that's how you do an ornate right angle weave stitch in bead weaving.